The countdown is on with 5 games remaining in the 2025 season. The playoff race tightens as 2 teams above the playoff line look to stay there. 7th seeded Toronto FC and 8th place NYC FC2 come to York Lions Stadium in this matinee matchup of MLS NEXT Pro. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee, thanks for joining us. And right now, Toronto and New York, they're the last 2 teams in the playoff race. As you can see, there are so many teams looking to catch up. There are 5 teams who are only 1 result away from potentially catching up, including likes of Cincinnati, Crown Legacy, Carolina, Orlando, and Atlanta. A lot of these teams are streaking, and if either of these 2 potentially drop points, that threatens their ability to stay within the top 8. For Toronto, they stole points on the road against Philly Union in the shootout with points in 4 of their last 5. They stand in the number 7 slot in the Eastern Conference where they look to stay above the playoff line. As we take a look at their starting 11, 7 changes made since their game against Philly. Ayari leads the team with 6 goals as Henry is a first-team loanee. This is his first game with a second team in about a month. Mark Fisher in his second appearance since the end of June. Stefanovic is also in his second appearance, however, since March. De Rosario is the number 1 goalkeeper within the pipe. It's his 20th start. For NYC FC2, they're also in good form, beating Columbus to secure points in 3 of their last 4. Their 32 points are good for 8th. However, for NYC, they're making 5 changes of their own. Muzu is a lone forward. He got 2 assists against Columbus. Carrizo centers the midfield. He's got 7 goal contributions on the season. Alex Rando, he's the change in goal. 9 starts this season. The 4-year veteran is in his first appearance since July 26th. Making our way to center where a humongous 3 points are on the table. For the Eastern Conference, Toronto FC2, 7th place in the Eastern Conference. NYC FC2, they are in 8th. These are the last 2 teams currently in the playoff picture, as there are 5 teams all within a singular result away from overtaking either New York or Toronto. Ending that list with the 13th seeded Cincinnati, who are 3 points behind the 8th seeded NYC FC. They play Philadelphia, so this is a real opportunity for either of these 2 sides to not just take a win and continue the nice run of form that they've had. For Toronto, points in 4 of 5, 3 of 4. For NYC, it's points in 3 of the last 4. For Toronto, it's points of 4 of the last 5, but also the desperation they have to keep their standing in the table. There's an opportunity to not only stay above the playoff line, but for the loser, they threaten their opportunity to stay in the top 8 with an opportunity to drop with other results pending across the entirety of the league in MLS NEXT Pro. As we're started here at York Lions Stadium, MLS NEXT Pro match week 25 on the way of 30. Ryan Lee and entire MLS NEXT Pro crew, we thank you for joining us here at York Lions Stadium in York, Ontario. It's a relatively chill 72-degree day where it's a potential chance of precipitation, but also clear skies as well, so we never know how the rolling humidity is. It's been a variety of things throughout the Ontario region, as it's going to come back for NYC the other way, coming off of a 3-1 win against Columbus back at home, where they got their 8th win of the season. They are technically sub 500, 8-9-6, but their 32 points are good enough for the 8th place slot as the first ball gets dribbled towards Adisa De Rosario. A lot of the headlines have been occupied by his brother Osaze, but he has been the number 1 for Toronto the entire way through. 20 starts for De Rosario in between the pipes for TFC2 for a 7th place squad in Toronto. 9-9-5 they sit. Their 33 points are good enough, so the good news is they do have a cushion with NYC there. However, there are opportunities for some of those other squads, including Orlando and Atlanta, to maybe catch up should those results not fall in the direction of the Young Reds. Italo launches deep. Nate Edwards. He's cut off by Baera. trying to escape the end line, and this will go for a Toronto throw. Tossed in, borrowed. Muzu reverses things for New York. Just out of range, Sudnik was behind his back, so this goes back to Toronto. Good form for Toronto, as we mentioned. They have points in 4 of their last 5, including a shootout win last time out against Philadelphia Union that went to 15 combined shootout goals between Toronto FC 2 and Union 2, and 3 wins across the 4 prior to that. De Rosario's clearance, partially flubbed, makes its way back to Italo. Turned over at center. Sudnik couldn't finish the reversal. Toronto want to start the attack. Edwards in front of Baera. Edwards across, too high. Barrow couldn't get there. So it is going to be the first goal kick for the man between the pipes for NYC FC, Alex Rando, who is the veteran on this New York side. Take another look as the attempted cross made by Nate Edwards. 2 seasons in Toronto for Nate Edwards, 4 seasons with NYCFC's Alex Randos. He sets off the goal kick. Stolen at center, Oldwin. Barrow. Around he goes, trying to find a lane. Quick shot, dribbles right to Rando. A nice little strip there, Oldwin in support, so the cycle continues for Toronto, just trying to utilize the width. As that was cut through, Malik Henry gave it a go. Malik Henry, a first-team loanee after signing his contract at the beginning of the month on the 9th. This is his first appearance with the second team since July 27th. De Rosario's out of his box. Has help in the form of Stefanovic, makes it up for Henry. Stolen away, NYC. Molinari. Tiao on the far side generally occupies the right back spot, but in this game he will occupy the left back spot in his 40th start across 2 seasons with NYC. Back to the center back tandem of Max Murray and Prince Ampansa. Baera works the wing, backheeled, last deflected on Stefanovic, NYC ball. Tiao. NYC into the box, loose, Muzu shoots, deflected in front. Slow roller goes to De Rosario, but that's another attempt by NYC towards goal, only 5.5 minutes in. An NYC side that just trying to get hot at the very right moment, talking about the emphasis that good form can have, especially in a playoff push. Especially how it can be more manageable with some more opportunities with availability and health being in their side for NYC was acknowledged by Matt Pilkington. Stripped away, trying to lead Muzu, but cutting him off is Italo. Scott lost it, back for NYC. Muzu touches it, Tiao comes in. Chop down, Malik Henry, whistle against NYC. In this MLS Next Pro era, NYC trying to make it back-to-back playoff berths after making the postseason for the first time last year. As a number 6 seed, they currently occupy the 8th slot, especially because of how tight the playoff race is, and this has been a recurring headline in MLS Next Pro of how congested the tables are, both in the East and in the West. So many teams are vying for so few playoff slots as teams slowly start to pull away. Centering feed, couldn't get behind. It was behind the back of Muzu. The attempt was made by Lim, and Di Rosario will clear. Whistle call, Daquan Barrow will earn it. A couple verdicts made by our officiating crew in the yellow. Melvin Christopher leads the way. Reda Fazazi and Mamet Sen are the assistant referees. Fabrizio Stasola is the fourth official for today's game as well. Also a momentous occasion for this Toronto FC organization. Their head coach, Gianni Cimini, coaching game number 100 across 4 seasons in MLS Next Pro. We'll get more to that in a little bit. Nate Edwards. Support comes Stefanovic. Stojadinovic and Stefanovic. Driving forward, looking for Barrow. Cannot get there. He's cut off by Murray. Couple passes back and forth, make its way back to the defensive unit for Toronto, occupied by Mark Fisher and Italo. Scott beats his man out, across, header too high. Still in play, Ayari. Stefanovic. Service in and cut by Randall. Toronto have had the better of the opportunity so far in this opening 10 minutes, and a lot of that has just been due to a lot of lateral services from TFC2, trying to force NYC to kind of scramble left and right, and they've been succeeding at that so far. A couple opportunities, the long distance try, and I'm not sure if that was a service or a shot, but regardless, Randall read it through. Molinari wiggles around Barrow, so he starts the breakout for NYC. Elias with Tiao on the far side. Elias pushes it forward as Tiao gets chopped down. Chris Tiao, 24-year-old back from Randolph, New Jersey, has typically been an international call-up with Chinese Taipei, especially earlier on in the season, but with the recent international window, he gets to stay with NYC for this little bit, especially down this home stretch in the final 5 games of the season, both of them at 23 matches of 28 this year. Muzu ready to serve. Shoveled in. No one in blue can touch. NYC start off this first half in the blue, attacking left to right. For Toronto, right to left they go. As we mentioned earlier, Gianni Cimini, 100 games as the Toronto 2 head coach. Last time out was in July 6th. There was a 1-0 win for NYC, where game-winning goal was from Leo Guarino. However, he stands on the bench today. New York are offside. Stefanovic couldn't get around the roadblock in blue. Carrizo gets through. Baera completes the cycle. Muzu works inside. Carrizo. Elias widens. Tiao centrally placed, but across the mouth of goal. Quick scrap goes towards the sideline for a New York throw. Drew Baera. He got dropped to the ground and takes the throw. Maximo Carrizo charging ahead. Fed to center, rebound, saved by Di Rosario. Cleared away by Toronto. NYC will throw, but a beautiful save by Di Rosario to keep this game scoreless. Nice cycle by NYC, just using the widths as well and a lot of open opportunities. Piero Elias with a beautiful shot and an even better save by Di Rosario as he catches another attempt to serve. You had some congestion in the lane as well by NYC, a lot of bodies in the box. You had Stefanovic, you had Fisher in the way as well, but Di Rosario with the final touch in front of goal. Lucas Olguin trying to get Toronto out of their own end. Nice strip by Baera. An even better block by Stojadinovic. Hassan Ayari. Olguin. Scott calling for it far side. He tried to go there, but too far in front. A couple of the other games across MLS Next Pro going final. A clash at the top of the Eastern Conference with New England and Chicago. New England and Chicago, they're the 4-5 seed, currently tied at 42 points apiece. They're trying to make their way into a potential home playoff appearance, are the Revs. However, they're the first team that is going to be traveling on the road at the number 5 seed. As of now, Chicago are the 4th team in. They are the final team that will get a chance to host, but maybe some changes are made. Only one playoff slot occupied in the Eastern Conference. That's currently led by the New York Red Bulls, who have a healthy cushion on Philly and Huntsville, tied at 43 points aside, second most in the conference. As you just have this logjam in the 7 to 13 section of the table. There's a really considerable drop-off after number 6, Chattanooga. Touched forward, Edwards can't keep in. New York has a 5-point gap alone at the top of the Eastern Conference table. And then you have this battle for home playoff slots. Huntsville in 2nd, Chattanooga in 6th, only separated by 2 points. Baera, slippery, cross for Tiao. Elias. Claims it back, Carrizo. Gets there before Ayari can. Tiao. Out of Carrizo's reach. And whistle against New York. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor of Toronto FC2. It's going to be quite a tough task for either of these two to advance any further than 7th. There is a 8-point gap between number 7, Toronto, and number 6, Chattanooga FC. So maybe advancing above 7th is more or less out of the realm of possibility, but dropping out entirely, most certainly a possibility. Nate Edwards near side. Shimmies through. Olguin. Olguin loads up, but right to Rando. Nice try here by Toronto. They haven't really gotten many threatening opportunities inside of the box, but they are not shy to shoot, especially from distance. They just want to try to get balls towards Alex Rando. He has not played since July 26th in a 2-0 loss to Philadelphia Union, which right after that not only concluded the July slate of games, but once you get into August, you got points in 3 of the 4 since. Oakland can't keep in. Verdict favors Toronto. Simmermancic widens for Henry. Olgren retreats for Fisher. Olgren pestered by Carrizo, still on. Disruption for NYC. Muzu chopped down by Italo. Pushing ahead, Luke Suniak. Dispossessed. It rolls right to Molinari. Continues the possession for New York. Pierre Eliash. Ricocheted off of Lim straight to Di Rosario. 20 minutes in, still scoreless. Only 4 shots on total. 3 of them have been on target. But the game is still young, like many of the men that have taken the pitch here today. Comes back to the center back tandem of Aponsa and Murray. Pushed ahead, Muzu's loose! Had to retreat with a bouncing ball. Muzu stepped on the ball and trips. This allows Olgwin to charge forward. Stojadinovic. Waiting for options at the center circle, Olgwin. Lucas Olgwin, 19 years old in his 3rd season, continues to wait for options. Far side it comes. Simmermancic. Simmermancic lost it. Rolling through his Lim. Scott supports. And Malik Henry does just enough to earn a throw into Toronto. Barrow. And Toronto circle around to maintain possession for Stefanovic. Atlanta waiting in the wings as the number 9 seed in the Eastern Conference, coming off of a 2-0 win last night against Huntsville. And what a transformation it is for Atlanta to get themselves into this playoff race. They were 14th in the East not that long ago, and they've won 4 of their last 5 since, which actually started in a 3-1 victory for Atlanta here in York against Toronto, which helped the transformation of Atlanta into a playoff threatening team against either of these two. For Toronto, they have 2 more games on the wing. While Columbus has been eliminated from playoff contention, New England, as we just showed earlier, recently won in penalties, but they are right on the heels of Chicago for a potential home playoff date. NYC, they have to play both New York and Chicago. As we mentioned, 4-5, both desperate to host, don't want to go on the road. Pushing forward, Edwards recovers back. In front, Edwards scores! Nate Edwards knocks it in! Toronto opened the scoring! This play starts by the breakout pass from Nate Edwards. The attempted tackle by Era was thwarted, and the second effort by Edwards to maintain possession. Continuing the play was Ayari to feed it back to Edwards, but if Edwards doesn't lose Era, this play does not happen. And the solo effort by Edwards to stay with the play, keep the ball at his feet, and then gets in position to find an open spot to tap it in for the opening goal. 23 minutes in, Nate Edwards is on the board. A new career high, 3 goals in the 2025 season, had 2 in his first season last year. Formerly of the Syracuse Orange, the Brampton native. Toronto this season, they have actually started the game behind more often. They've started ahead. 9 games, Toronto has scored first. 11 games, they've allowed the first goal. So they've been able to make things work, and they've been very successful getting points in 8 of the 9 where they have scored first, are TFC2. 6-1-2 when getting the opening goal. Long ball attempted, Sunyik on a tumble, Edwards sliding by, Carrizo keeps in. Carrizo chopped down the USA U17 International, lost the ball, so it's back for Toronto. Yellow card at the end of that. Sebastian Muzu displeased. Take another look here as Ayari gave it back to Edwards, and then you had Barrow. He just got a little bit of a heel clip on Muzu. Henry in front, Barrow too far in front, held on by Rando, doesn't matter, offside. This portion of the match is brought to you by LG, proud sponsor of Toronto FC2. Hassan Ayari credited with the assist on the Edwards goal. New York City native is Ayari at 22 years of age, a career high in goal contributions in his second season with Toronto for the Tunisia Youth International at the U20 level. Has been stellar for Toronto this year. It's Muzu. Flips it across, Cristiao. Nice interception. And the twirl by Marcus Zimmermancic. Ayari lifts it. Malik Henry. Speed and numbers for Toronto. Henry centers, Barrow out of range. Carrizo wanted to slip by Stojadinovic, but lost it to the Young Reds. Edwards has the support of Ayari, but it comes back. Stefanovic, four-year veteran of this Toronto FC2 side, has been marred with injuries. He's only played in 2 matches since the opening match in Cincinnati back on March 9th. Ayari, long ball attempted, and that took an awkward bounce for Henry. If that bounced Henry's way, it would have been in, but New York will take over. Gianni Cimini and this Toronto FC side just talking about how a lot of what's gone well with this team is just trying to really make sure there's the mutual level of accountability between player and coach throughout, especially with the overall landscape of MLS NEXT Pro. Many of these teams going the kind of youth development routes, a lot of top young talent, and some guys are also coming in from NCAA. Edwards leaves it, Stojadinovic crosses, headed up and out of play. Last off of Prince Aponsa. This is the first corner of the match. It will go to Toronto. Aponsa, the 21-year-old from the Bronx, on the receiving end of that, as there's a nice service in by Stojadinovic, and right before it could be met by Simmer Mancic, it comes out for the first corner. Ayari will go to the far flag. Ayari, header, over. Daquan Barrow on the receiving end. Rando has liftoff. We're talking about the playoff push with Gianni Cimini. One of the things he mentioned was how it's just one of those things that can translate into potential first-team success. Talking about how when these guys maybe get opportunities to move up, it's a lot about understanding the roles needed to help the group, help the team to win, and how there's not just winning, but there's development in the winning. How success can breed opportunity. They've been successful so far. They are on the front foot. Distance try is right to Rando. We've seen a lot of these shots from well outside the box, cutting back. Played back for Stefanovic. Ayari wanted to play centrally, but Barrow is harassed and whistle against Toronto. This portion of the match is brought to you by Chevrolet, a proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. New York take over. 32nd minute, 23rd minute goal from Nate Edwards on the assist by Hassan Ayari. 7th place Toronto FC, 8th place New York City FC. 5 teams creeping up into the top 8. All 5 of those teams within 3 points of the 32 of New York. Turn around, need Edwards in front of his defender. Edwards, he's alone. Baera catches up. Edwards off of the defender and out of play. Corner coming up, Toronto. A great game so far for Nate Edwards. He got in front of his defender, Drew Baera. But once he saw Baera was catching up, he just had to cut back and load up. Max Murray using his frame to get in the way. 2-time America East center back is Max Murray. Forces the corner for Toronto, their second. Shoveled in, headed, up for grabs, still loose. Elias the push. Sunyik runs it back, but Stojadinovic intervenes. Back to Italo at the center circle. Talked about how tight the playoff race is in the East. However, the same story can be mirrored in the West. 4th place Ventura County and 13th place Tacoma Defiance are separated by 10 points. Last slot occupied by another team north of the border, Vancouver Whitecaps, currently occupying the number 8 slot at 31 points in a 3-way tie with Minnesota and North Texas. And Tacoma only 4 points behind that margin. So the intrigue grows across all of MLS NEXT Pro as the playoff race tightens with 5 matches to go. Lim cycles, Tiao retreats, Aponsa whistle down. Elias and Olguin were tangled up, and Pierre Elias will get the yellow. He's been booked a lot this season. Pierre Elias is 8th of the season, as it was right after he got the ball off, and you can see him. He just kind of turns around and maybe inadvertently gets his hand up there, but regardless, it is enough to draw the attention of the officiating, as both teams will go to their respective benches and take a look at Olguin as he makes his way back up onto his feet, or at least before that can happen. 70 appearances for him across 3 seasons with Toronto, 20 of them this year for the 19-year-old midfielder. It's a momentous occasion here in Toronto. As we mentioned at the top, Gianni Cimini is coaching his 100th game as the lead man for Toronto FC2. This took place before the game started. The ceremonial centennial jersey, as his family got brought out to the pitch in a very heartwarming moment for not only the Toronto FC organization, but for Coach Cimini as well. He really spoke about how it doesn't feel like it's been 4 years and 100 matches. He just talked about how grateful he was to have a real impact on many of these guys, some of them as young as 10 and 11 years old when they first came to the Toronto FC organization, for the city he grew up in and for the team that he grew to love, especially with the overall changes in coaching and soccer as a whole. He's just thankful and grateful to be a part of this, not only organization, but to be able to maintain his stay for as long as he has. 100 matches across 4 seasons, 37, 44, and 22, helping them to their playoff appearance in the inaugural 2022 MLS NEXT Pro season. Trying to make the playoffs for the first time since then. did not make it in 2023 or 24. However, they are in position to potentially have a return into the postseason. Not only currently occupying a top 8 slot, but currently having a 1-0 lead, 1 seed above the team who occupy the final slot, NYC. It was a very heartwarming ceremony at the beginning of the match. You had the Centennial jersey, you saw his wife and kids as a part of the presentation. His parents were within that ceremony as well. And all congratulations go to Gianni Cimini of Toronto FC2. Pierre Elias starts to break out for NYC. Return for Elias. Muzu looks for it, but lost it. Fisher in the way, goal kick, Toronto. Carrizo and Muzu trying to force pressure. Di Rosario sends it away. Zimmerman just stays on his feet, feeds it, Ayari. Near side, Edwards. Edwards fires, that was blocked again by Murray. Another shot by Edwards, blocked by Murray, and another corner for Toronto. Nate Edwards is really feeling himself now, as this is another try that he went towards goal, and Max Murray with the wherewithal to get in front. The number 17 overall pick in this last year's draft is Max Murray. And taking the corner is Ayari. Scooped in, headed up and over. Marcus Zimmermancic on the receiving end. But a nice attempt for Toronto. Can't really complain about that one, that just is what it was. Final 5 minutes of the half. Elias launches it. Luka Sunyek's one-on-one. Sunyek's alone, but stopped by Di Rosario. What an opportunity for Luka Sunyek. He was one-on-one with Di Rosario, lost Stefanovic as he was very much inward. Turnover, Muzu from range, off the post, and out. Italo recovers. Two huge opportunities for New York. None could be converted as they're still down by 1. Maybe a chance for Toronto to double down. This one's rainbowed in. Edwards holds on. Edwards centers. Ayari blocked by Murray. Comes out corner Toronto. Number 4 of the half. This is a great move by Nate Edwards. He has been burning Baera all game long. And you had the ricochet on the toe from Murray. This was the chance on the other end with Muzu from range. That was off the post. Ayari headed towards goal, caught by Rando. Still Edwards with a lone goal, but both teams now threatening Rando and Di Rosario. Poked along, Max Carrizo pivots, slithers, can't get around. Back to Carrizo. Olguin with the strip. Ricochets off of Apansa. This is Toronto's ball. Matt Pilkington, when he spoke to us, he just talked about how they're just trying to close out the season strong, how the results, for obvious reasons, are going to be required to keep the season going. And a lot of that is just kind of the mental fortitude and the overall endurance they'll need to close things out, the high-pressure environments they're going to deal with, not just in terms of the play, but also in terms of who they're playing coming up. Including today, only playoff teams for NYC the rest of the way. Centering feed, back post, Baera escorts it out of play. And the fifth corner for Toronto FC 2. New York, still no corners in this match. Toronto having the edge across the board, as you can see, as they have 5 corners, especially for an NYC squad who has beaten Toronto twice this year, both via clean sheet. They're not going to go 3 for 3. Ayari scoops it in, swatted up by Rando. Back-to-back corners for Toronto. (1-0) last time out on July 16th, and the first meeting was on May 15th. That was 3-0 against Toronto. However, both of those were in the Big Apple. It's breezing here in Toronto as this one's whipped in, headed up. Long-range try was bounced for Olguin and out of play. You mentioned before, Leo Guarino was the one who got the game winner in the 1-0 victory last time out. However, the last time that these two played up north, it was September 15th, 2024, where Toronto had a 3-0 win. Out of range of Barrow, right towards Murray. And we're in the 45th minute of 45. We have 3 minutes expected of stoppage. Eliash in front, flag goes up. Toronto, a very short-handed group because of international duty with the Canadian youth side. They're without Josh Nugent, who's with the Canadian U18s, and they have 4 other guys on Canada's U17 team with Anton Bostonberry, Stephen Kapoor, Richard Chukwu, and Tim Fortiel, a part of that. But they have held on well. The overall depth and opportunity for some of these TFC2 players. Just talking about how it's the players' responsibility to respond and grow. And it's the coaches who have to give these players the platform to perform. Ayari putting on a performance now as he flips it up. Couldn't connect. Carrizo. Long ball looking for Muzu. Sebastiano Muzu in front. Sunyik blocked before it gets to Di Rosario. Italo got in the way. Two of the goalie's best friends have favored Adisa De Rosario. The posts and the defenders in front, with Muzu and Sunyik charging in. It's this play right here with Sunyik on the release and the pursuit by Italo to close the gap. And you saw earlier Muzu taking one from range coming off the post. So both of the goalie's best friends helping out Di Rosario so far in this first half. Stripped, Toronto in front. Fed, Ayari disrupted by Murray. Murray down the line. Stolen away by Stefanovic. Ayari centers, cleared away Ampansa. Henry in pursuit. 2 minutes in of 3. Toronto with a very favorable 1-0 lead. Do they try to extend before the break, or will they just be content with what they've already accumulated? Henry goes nowhere. Nice block. Ayari lays it back for Nate Edwards. They came in tandem in the opening goal in the 23rd minute. And Toronto will most likely take this one to the break with a 1-0 lead, and they will. 1-0 favoring Toronto FC 2 in a pivotal game to keep the playoff hopes alive in a 7-8 matchup between Toronto and NYC. Highlights, stats, and a feel-good story from FC Dallas on the other end of the break. Stick with us.
Youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action.
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
Returning to Toronto for match week 25 in MLS Next Pro, where there has been a lot of action in the first half and across MLS Next Pro as well. This is the slate for next week in the MLS Next Pro slate. You can catch us and our entire crew over in Texas, where North Texas and Ventura County play in a West Coast clash. But plenty of action across the Eastern Conference as well, where there's a lot of opportunities for teams to shift up and down, not just for a top 8 slot, but also top 4 opportunities to host and maybe potentially pick their opponents as well. And we'll see how the drama kind of unfolds as game after game continues to unfold, and we continue to see how this overall picture in MLS Next Pro continues to pan out. On the other end of the break, a heartwarming story in Dallas about a life-saving event. Stick around on the other end.
like my vibe.
Lionel Messi! Who else? The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action.
Back at halftime here in Toronto in match week 25 of MLS NEXT Pro. Sports and soccer is inspirational, and we include Sean McGinty's inspirational story coming out of Dallas, Texas.
For FC Dallas team administrator Sean McGinty, soccer is more than a game. It's a platform for connection, for purpose, and for life-saving action.
My name is Sean McGinty. I am the player relations coordinator at FC Dallas. I started out as an intern actually with North Texas when I first got here, and then after about a month or two I got bumped up to the NTSC team administrator, and I've been working as the administrator for the last 2 years. And then following the 2024 season with NTSC, I got moved up to the player relations coordinator here at FC Dallas.
Raised by a professional goalkeeper and a pioneering orthopedic surgeon, Sean grew up at the intersection of passion and perseverance. But life threw its first challenge before he even left the hospital.
Sean is my first child, and he was born with actually a congenital malformation of his gut, his large intestine, and so not known pre or anything like that, and he had to have a pretty major surgery within a week after being born. He had to have multiple surgeries in his first 3 years of life, where we were in and out of the hospital a lot. His goal in life was to get up and move and to play something. And he really, honestly, has maintained that amazing ability to just kind of get up and bounce back and do things.
That same drive took him to the pitch at UNC Asheville after his time at St. Louis University, where soccer became a means of connection and a source of something even bigger.
Sean was a teammate of mine going back for a few years at UNC Asheville. Sean's a dope dude. I mean, that's the best way to boil it down. Really great guy to be with on and off the pitch. Really bright too. I mean, I think he speaks like 4 or 5 languages. And as a footballer, I mean, he was just tenacious. I mean, he's kind of everything you wanted in a center back, not afraid to dive into a challenge and a workhorse. So great guy to know on and off the pitch.
Inspired by a cause to help blood cancer patients find life-saving stem cell donors, Taylor and Sean spearheaded a campus-wide effort. It would eventually save a life.
In grad school, I was introduced to a teammate of mine whose mother was dealing with a very rare form of cancer, and they were looking for stem cell donations or potential bone marrow donations for his mom, and that's when I signed up originally to be a part of the registry. I
was really, really proud of him. I think that a lot of people can be a little scared that, like, well, maybe this will be painful.
Having Sean donate was just really awesome. It meant a lot to see how Sean was invested in the cause and also how much it meant to him. I think a lot of our guys, when they signed up, you know, they do the cheek swab and fill out the form. They're like, yeah, I want to help, but things change when you get that call saying, like, you're a match. The process you're going through, quite literally giving a part of yourself to somebody else. And that, I think, really strikes home at a deeper level. And to see one of my friends and teammates be able to go through that experience was really awesome.
What Sean didn't know at the time was the story of the man whose life he would help save.
I feel like it's not every day that you get to say that, like, hey, I potentially saved a life or did save a life. I don't really know if there are words to kind of put into, like, how that makes someone feel. Like, I feel really happy, and I feel really good that I was able to impact someone's life.
It means the world to me, but he's always been that way. It's always been really who he is, and he's a humble person.
Through the National Marrow Donor Program, Sean was able to connect with the recipient of his donation.
We communicated through, the company had someone kind of mediate between us both to get like contact information. I wasn't allowed to, I wasn't given his name, and I wasn't given like a phone number or anything like that, but he wrote a letter that was forwarded on to me from Be the Match for him to like be able to participate and like do more things, because I found out like he's a married man, he's got 2 daughters, like him being able to have more time with his kids, it made me feel a lot better and really excited that he's in a year of remission and things are looking good for him.
Just is a blessing that he was able to really just extend that same gift that we have to another family so that they can have that as well, is just awesome in the true sense of the word.
I remember there was a point like when my mom was like really, really sick, and we didn't know if it was going to progress so bad that she would be disabled permanently, if she was not going to be able to like go to work again. Like we were really nervous at one point. So I know like having that feeling for someone else, I can only imagine how his kids were feeling or how his wife was feeling.
Every person in the registry is a light in the dark for someone. Sean McGinty became that light.
It's at no real cost to you, because not only will they pay for everything, but like there's no health risks really to it. They give you the stuff so you overproduce stem cells to minimize the effects for you. They really cater to your needs to make sure that you're okay, while also making sure that someone else has the possibility to be okay. So I think it's a no-brainer for me. I think you should totally do it.
We're on this earth to kind of figure out who we are, what our place is, and honestly, it's to just to grow as humans and make connections and try to make the place a little bit better than it was when we got here. And doing something to help one person changes a whole world.
Yeah, I know I'm really attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. The jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Action.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
We return back here at York Lions Stadium in York, Ontario, just outside of the Toronto region, where TFC2 have the 1-0 lead on NYCFC. Both teams clinging on to their playoff hopes as we go through our halftime highlights. As it started off hot, NYC have gotten a couple chances, but they started off on the opening end with the first shot attempt, Pierre Elias, and the fantastic save by Adisa de Rosario. However, things would get started by this individual effort by Nate Edwards. He got past the tackle of Baera, and then Ayari would set up Edwards for the opening goal. This would be Edwards' third, which would be a career high for Edwards. Ayari on the helper. A couple long-range tries from NYC. While maybe not effective, they're at least testing Rando in some way, shape, and form. And this is the overall team defense that Toronto have been trying to look for, as you had Lucas Suniak all alone, one-on-one with Adisa De Rosario, and then a little bit of a miscommunication here with Sebastiano Muzu. He gave it a go from deep. He cranks it right off the iron, and that's how things go after a half. The slate for the next set of MLS Next Pro games is on deck. A lot of Western Conference battles. You can hear us and our crew at Texas, where we will see North Texas and Ventura County, both of them playing for their playoff lives. Currently, North Texas in a three-way tie at 8th place with 31 points. They're trying to stay in the hunt. A couple of teams trying to keep their hopes alive as well. New England Revolution and Huntsville will also be there as well in a matchup towards the top of the Eastern Conference table, with two teams trying to maintain potential home games. New England in 5th, Huntsville in 2nd. Second half upcoming here at York Lions Stadium. NYCFC all blue, right to left they go, left to right are Toronto in the red, as we return from half in Toronto, where they have the 1-0 lead right in the entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. We thank you for joining us here, where it has been a very eventful first half, where there have been opportunities on both ends of the pitch, a combined 16 shot attempts between the two sides. However, 5 of those 11 shot attempts for Toronto have been within frame, 3 of 5 for NYC, with the lone goal coming to Nate Edwards in the 23rd minute, as the first whistle is won right off the jump, only 30 seconds in. This gives us an opportunity to introduce our officiating crew. Melvin Christopher, the head official in the yellow. Rida Fazazi and Mehmet Sen are the assistant referees, and Fabrizio Stasola is our 4th official. Down the line it comes from Malik Henry. Second try, elevated, Simmermancic. Pivots to free up room. Return, Simmermancic across from Murray, takes a shot and scores! Only a minute after the return from half, Simmermancic doubles the lead for Toronto. What a way to start the half for Toronto. Simmermancic started the breakout and then gets on the receiving end. Just wiggles around Max Murray to slot it into the bottom right corner. And Toronto have doubled down, looking to maintain the number 7 seed in MLS Next Pro's Eastern Conference. And they have put themselves in position to do so. After Atlanta won yesterday against Huntsville, you also have Orlando, Carolina Core, Crown Legacy, and Cincinnati all lurking to potentially pounce on NYC, Orlando, and Crown Legacy later on tonight against each other. You also have Cincinnati hosting Philadelphia later on as well, so there's going to be a lot of movement on the table, especially by the end of the night. We'll know how things shake out approximately 10 p.m. Eastern, give or take, at least on the Eastern Conference side of things. Just as much drama on the West as well. For a team that has scored the 4th fewest goals across 2019 in MLS Next Pro, this is their 30th all season in 24 matches. 47th minute goal by Marcus Simmermancic, his 3rd. And for Simmermancic, that puts him at 3 goals in the last 4 matches. At least that he's played in. Didn't play against Philadelphia Union. He scored the lone goal in a 3-1 loss against Atlanta earlier in the month. It's back for Simmermancic. He widens. Olguin is there. Olguin Sliding by, taken down, dribbles out of play, goal kick. Lim pushes ahead, Piero Eliash in space. Eliash cuts across, Tiao. Nice pick by Nate Edwards. Lazar Stefanovic, in only his third appearance all season long, gets his first assist with the helper on the Simmermancic goal. Game number 51 for Simmermancic, the 21-year-old from Kitchener. Murray stripped away, not for long. NYC still on. Drew Baera pushing the pace centrally. However, it was between the legs of Sunyak, and that one escapes the realm of play for a New York throw. Handball call against Peter Molinari. Second season with New York for Molinari, did not play last year. 20 starts for him this year. His first season, at least, of play. Ogwin pushes it ahead, Hassan Ayari. Ayari loads up, rebound, Simmermancic, it's over. The ricochet by Simmermancic almost got past Rando, but went over the bar. It was a nice play. Hassan Ayari has been doing a lot of his work in distribution in today's game. He hasn't taken very many shots, but he has gotten guys in space to succeed. Only one shot attempt for Ayari, but he did get the assist on the opening goal for Edwards, as Muzu's at the corner flag, scrapping with Italo. However, he coughed it up to Toronto, who have points in 4 of their last 5. 3 wins, 1 win in PKs, and a loss in that stretch. The one loss was the 3-1 loss to Atlanta at the beginning of the month. And the PK win was the last match, 2-2 against Philly, which required 15 combined PK goals to be decided 8-7. Lim centers, Muzu twirls. Carrizo tries to escape. Miscommunication, makes its way back for Tiao. Scoops it, headed down, Molinari. Laterally, Carrizo. Eliash was double teamed with room, Carrizo. Only a road bump from Ayari, so it's back for New York. Hammered along that far sideline, and it will be whistle favoring Toronto. Eleven matches played between New York and Toronto all time. It's the most that NYCFC2 have had against any opponent in their short history. New York leads the head-to-head 6-3-2. However, it drops. Eliash bounces in the air, still loose. No one's got it. De Rosario collects it, and it stayed in play through all that craziness. The attempted header from Fisher could not get out. Muzu and Elias try to get it through. And they just had a whole barrage of bodies there as De Rosario keeps it inside the line. Stolen by Ogwin. Flipped out. Edwards waits, but whistle will go against Toronto. Flag comes up. Matt Pilkington crediting his guys for the way they controlled the game against Columbus, the defensive shape and the way that they managed the ball in order to do so. It allowed them to really get the build up. However, they've had opportunities. They just haven't been able to really execute. Haven't had that finishing touch that New York are looking for. A lot of that has just been due to the overall stinginess of Toronto's defense. De Rosario will dump it out. Simermancic stumbles and gets the whistle. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. It was a really difficult July stretch for Gianni Cimini and the Toronto FC side, only accumulating 4 points in 5 games throughout the month of July. However, they've recovered very well in August. After July, it looked like they might have been down and out for the count of the playoff race, but you get points in 3 of 4, including a pair of wins throughout the month of August. It's really put them back in position to stay alive in this playoff race where they are above the line and they're in prime position to stay there. Haven't made the playoffs since 2022 are Toronto. Simermancic, second goal scorer, widens for Henry. Plays it in front, centering feed, no one there for the header. Edwards is alone. He controls. Ogwin with Ayari. Edwards alongside. Ayari lost it. Muzu retreats back. A dozen minutes into the second half, Simermancic scored a little over a minute into the second half, coming out of the break. Stefanovic, first man back. Possession continued to flip-flop between New York and Toronto. Finally, we might be able to find something sustainable for Toronto after the whistle. And with the teams in the Eastern Conference table, you have some of your top squads in the table with your Phillies, your Red Bulls, your Huntsville's in that mix. One of the most interesting stats of this Eastern Conference table is how New York and Toronto are the only two teams of the Eastern Conference table that are above the playoff lines with a negative goal differential. To be fair, aside from 6th place Chattanooga, everyone from 7 to the bottom of the table who's currently occupied by Columbus, everyone in that stretch has a negative goal differential throughout the season. It just shows the recovery from maybe some shaky starts and how you let bad performances kind of just blow by and let them be, and you just move forward. New York moving forward. Pierre Elias sending it across. Back for Tiao. Service. And a nice snag by Di Rosario. Di Rosario in his 20th start of the season. 45 across his 4 seasons of MLS NEXT Pro. Looking for his 10th start of the season. 9-6-4. Toronto are with number 77 between the pipes. Got his first win all season in the shootout against Philly last time out. Already surpassing the total of his starts from last year. 20 starts last year and 20 this year as well, where he was predominantly a backup in his first season in 2023. Double teamed and cut down was Sunyek. Whistle earned by New York. Stefanovic, the guilty party, with the yellow. New York or Toronto? New York or Toronto, who will stay in? Right now, New York threatened to be out. Toronto are the ones who are still in, with Orlando lurking with their game against Crown Legacy later. And that's the takedown by Stefanovic. And the service goes straight to Di Rosario. Tiao near side with Elias. He's got Lim with him. That's where he'll go. Scooped into the box, it's down, it's loose, fired, and over! Evan Lim looking for his 3rd goal, but it couldn't make its way within frame, and first substitutions are coming up by Gianni Cimini.
Substitution for Toronto FC in the 64th minute. Completing the game are number 72,
Fisher for Fisher, Reed for Mark. No relation between those two guys. And Jamari Nolan comes in with Daquan Barrow making his exit. Reed Fisher, 2 seasons with San Diego State, where he was a first-team WAC and a Freshman of the Year candidate, where he was eventually drafted number 23 overall by Toronto this past year's draft. And Jamari Nolan, 15 years old from Jamaica, part of the Jamaican U17 squad in his first year of play. Forcing his way to Edwards, but out. Last deflects off of NYC for first Toronto corner of the second half. Played in quick, Ayari, but lost it. Coughed it up to Sunyik. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ritz, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. Reed Fisher getting his legs wet in this match. 21 matches across his first season in MLS Next Pro. Launching it forward, Simmermancic. Trying to spring Henry free, but Murray will toss it towards the sideline and out. 20 minutes into the second half of play. We will have a substitution now coming from Matt Pilkington. Lucas Sunyik will enter. Julian Locker will take his place, a team leading 6 assists on the season for the second-year pro at 17 years old. Tossed in, Fisher jostling with Muzu, frees up Eliash, but couldn't find a lane for Locker. Fourteen shots attempted for Toronto versus the 7 for NYC. They've had a good amount of control in this game so far, are the Young Reds. Not just in the scoreline, but in pretty much every other metric so far in this game as it comes across Hassan Ayari. Ayari charges ahead, Edwards outward, deflected out of play off of Bayera last. So it will be second corner of the half for Toronto, number 8 in today's match. Ayari to serve. Circled in, headed out Bayera, back. Olguin from deep. Fisher, center. Couldn't get the hit. Henry lays it out, second try. Olguin, aside, Simmermancic got a brace. Simmermancic sizzles by as he's got 2. Toronto with 3. He is red-hot Marcus Simmermancic. He's got 4 goals in 4 games as the centering feed by Fisher gets bobbled across. And Simmermancic staying with the play. Olguin just able to find him in an open spot, staying available. And once again, Simmermancic slots it in, bottom right, twice in the half. A brace, and he's 4 in 4. With 3 for Toronto. Toronto are in the driver's seat. They have complete control of this game. NYC have yet to answer. Almost lost it to Jamari Nolan. And with NYC, they have an absolute gauntlet going forward as well. Of the 5 teams they have left on their schedule, this was the lowest seeded of those teams. Their only other teams, as we mentioned, there's a sustainable gap between Toronto and 6th place Chattanooga. There's a 7-point gap going into today. NYC have to play Chattanooga eventually at the end of September, but first they have to go into Chicago, hosting New England in the end of the season at Subaru Park to play Philadelphia Union. Comes across, Carrizo, blocked in front, Toronto escapes. Edwards accelerates. Ayari with room, centering, behind the back of Nolan. But Nolan back in front, Simmermancic on 2. Gets help. Stojadinovic steps in. Stojadinovic! Just missed the net. What a try from Marko Stojadinovic. We talked about how in the first half, they were just trying to test Rando early on with those long-distance tries, but that was a whip from Marko Stojadinovic, the third-year man from Brampton, already a career-high 2 goals, wanting to add a third. Surprised he didn't maybe try to go for Simmermancic, trying to go for a third in today's game. "20 minutes remain in regulation. Julian Locker. Return feed, Ampansa. Tiao with Eliash. Muzu. Full steam ahead, Jamari Nolan, acres of room. Nolan, full steam ahead, Jamari Nolan! Stopped by Rando, second try, Rando keeps it off the line. Jamari Nolan, full steam ahead, fresh legs coming off of the bench, has only been in the game for maybe 5 minutes, and he had the space, had Rando one-on-one. But now New Yorker on the other end with Julian Locker, he's got 3. Locker widens, Carrizo twirls. Lays it back, Molinari. Help comes for New York. Carrizo, centered, blocked. Stojadinovic in the way. This portion of the match is brought to you by MasterCard, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. Olguin sets Edwards free. Edwards, Nolan. Henry helps out. Stojadinovic retreats with Fisher. Marcus Simmermancic, a second half brace. He leads the way, but offside. He had a sustainable gap between appearances. Did not play against Philadelphia the last time that he was out. He scored a goal in that Atlanta game earlier in the month, where they have continued a quite substantial run of form in the month of August. Maybe turning into something with September as well, with a trio of games before closing things out October 5th against the New York Red Bulls at St. John's University. Granted, Toronto does not have a very easy schedule to close out the year either, but at the very least, 3 points of wiggle room from the playoff line will absolutely help. Plus the one they already had going into today, so that's 4 points of wiggle room for Toronto. They go to Gillette Stadium to play New England. They host Columbus and Philadelphia here before traveling to New Jersey to play the Bulls to finish things out. And by then, who knows what New York could do. Maybe they'll clinch the #1 seed by then and maybe just try to rest their starters, but who knows what that's going to be like. Or they could always get a great test right before playoff start against the #1 seed in New York Red Bulls, maybe trying to maintain that slot. And then at that point, they just await to see who picks them, or even if they get picked. Nate Edwards. Stojadinovic. Ayari with options, he goes for it, but missed. What a strike by Hassan Ayari, already an assist in today's game, trying to add on a goal. And he has been so fiery, Ayari has been, all season long for Toronto FC 2. Especially for Toronto FC side, whose philosophy off the jump had just been to not only win the moment, but win each phase of the game. Especially for a group who have just been trying to find ways to just, at the very least, finish those one-on-one battles and make sure that they always keep to their assignments. They have done so far today to amass a 3-goal lead with 15 minutes to go in regulation. The Simmermancic goal, the credited assist is to Lucas Olgwin. For Olgwin, that's his first goal contribution all season, 6 across 3 seasons in MLS Next Pro. Reed Fisher flubbed on the header. Doesn't matter, offside. Reed Fisher and Simmermancic go back and forth near side, as you saw Pat McDonald and Michael Sullivan ready by our 4th official. Already 2 subs utilized by Gianni Cimini, 2 more on deck. And this is where they will be. So it's Michael Sullivan and Patrick McDonald coming in. Lucas Olgwin got his first assist on the 3rd goal for Toronto FC. Ayari got the assist on the 1st goal for Toronto, so a couple of the key contributors coming out. Michael Sullivan, formerly of the Pitt Panthers, a Pennsylvania native, scored the game-tying goal against Philly to force that game into PKs, a second-round draftee by Toronto this past season. Pat McDonald, 2023 first-team All-Big Ten with the Indiana Hoosiers. A key contributor to that NCAA final team that lost to Syracuse. He was actually drafted in 2024, but returned for the 2024 season with Indiana before coming across this past offseason. A dozen minutes remain in a 3-0 game. Nate Edwards opening up in the 23rd minute. Ayari with the helper. Simmermancic with a second-half brace in the 47th and 68th. Stefanovic and Olgwin the assist there. New York City yet to answer for a team that's a top 10 offensive scoring unit. Edwards. Sullivan with fresh legs streaking by, but they play back. Edwards stumbled and got the whistle. Simmermancic. Stoyadinovich back for Fisher. Muzu was pressuring, so they go back to Di Rosario. Simmermancic comes around Stoyadinovich. It's been a home-sided tilt for Toronto, and they have made sure to put a chokehold on this game throughout their offensive efforts. Henry slipped by Tiao, continues to work, centering feed, headed out. Elias racing back. Ampansa clears up, and the tug of the jersey on Sebastian Muzu will hold things from there. Pair of subs for NYCFC. They will bring in Leo Guarino and James Bilden. For Bilden, this is only his 5th appearance on the season, all of them after the 26th of July in his debut against Philadelphia Union. For Guarino, he scored the lone goal in the 1-0 victory last time out for the 22-year-old. Formerly of the Boston College Eagles, where he actually transferred his last season after being a 3-year player with Wake Forest. Bilden. Lim. Murray scoops it, headed wide. Nice attempt by James Bilden to at least get it towards frame, looking for his first goal in only 5 appearances, but unsuccessful there. But nice attempt by New York to at least try to create something, maybe trying to generate. However, it doesn't come, and the goal scorer, Nate Edwards, is out. Costa Iliadis will come in. That is the 5th substitution made by Toronto. For Iliadis, this is his 15th appearance this season. Across 2 seasons, only played in 1 game last year, formerly of the CF Montreal's youth system. Toronto possessed very well so far in this half. Settled Iliadis across, just out of reach of Sullivan. New England is the next opponent for Toronto, coming off of a shootout loss against Chicago Fire, who are New York City's next opponent. Both of them on the road next time out. Toronto will go to Gillette Stadium. For NYC, it will be at SeatGeek Stadium. Down the line it goes. Max Carrizo. Carrizo tries to generate something, but he's cut off by McDonald. Nice passing to spring forward. Centrally placed Nolan. Turnaround whipped. Iliadis. Iliadis on TL. Centering feed. Simmermancic denied. Still loose. Couldn't get the tip in, and it's cleared out by New York. Inches away from a hat trick for Simmermancic, and a golden opportunity. What a feed by Iliadis to set up Simmermancic, and a beautiful save by Rando to keep Simmermancic at 2. But with 5 minutes remaining, it's merely adding to more momentum for the Young Reds. Drop for Tiao, taken over Simmermancic. Across it comes Sullivan. Out of range of Henry, so it will be dribbling out of play. Contact forces the whistle. Both these two teams will be off next week. For Toronto, they don't play New England for another 12 days. For New York, they go up to Chicago in 2 weeks exactly from now. For New York, they just haven't been able to accumulate successful runs. This one successfully headed in, but not after it's caught by Di Rosario. Only 2 stretches of back-to-back wins all season for NYC, coming off of a win against Columbus. They just haven't been able to really string things in succession of one another. And the maybe lack of consistency has been an issue for them that has put them in their playoff lives in jeopardy. Murray scoops it. Fisher the head. Henry finishes the clear. Back towards center, Max Murray. For Max Murray, very well known his career with Vermont and that 2024 national championship team. 91 appearances with Vermont is a school record. Has been a regular starter with NYC, 17 for 17 this year. Widen centrally. Back post couldn't get tipped in by Guarino, so it's forced out of play by Iliadis. And this is the first corner of the match for New York. It required all of 88 minutes to get there. Poked up De Rosario. Still alive, Ampansa. Murray. Molinari scoops it in. This one's headed but missed. Another attempt by James Bilden to head it towards goal. But that's another attempt off the dome that was wide of the frame. Fed centrally looking for Nolan. Taken back, Simmermancic out of play, but last ricochets off on Ponsa, so it's Toronto ball. It really has been a one-sided game so far. You look at almost every single metric, whether it's shots, shots on target, possession, even just some of the opportunities in opponents' areas, and even the more disciplined side as well. 8-1 on corners, 20-10 on shot attempts, 9-3 on the shots on target. Yellow card comes in late for Iliadis. That at the very least evens that margin up. New York City come in with fouls as well. It's all just kind of been the command of Toronto. They've really controlled things, even though they've been pretty much a 500 team all year round. Looking for the 10th win of the season, all of them with Adisa De Rosario between the pipes. 2 extra minutes on the board for stoppage time. Guarino towards goal and right to the hands of De Rosario. 6 clean sheets on the season for Adisa De Rosario. "90 seconds away from making it 7 on the season. Simmermancic drops it for McDonald, poked ahead, Nolan cut off by Ampansa, and Randall will smother. It'll be a dogfight right at the playoff line. New York City will have to fend off Atlanta, Orlando, Carolina Core, Crown Legacy, and Cincinnati all within 3 points. Toronto have a nice cushion, a 4-point cushion from 8th place. And if they can maybe have a mathematical upset in New England, they have a game against Columbus, who have already been eliminated. They can secure their 2nd ever playoff berth. Man down, far side, as the final seconds pretty much tick off. As Matt Pilkington's unit will have to bring their passports back down south to the Big Apple before they make their way to the Windy City against the Chicago Fire side, playing to a shootout against the Revolution, the next opponent for Toronto. Dead ball near sideline. We've crossed 2 minutes. Toronto just trying to run out the clock. And we end today's match the way we began, with celebrations in Toronto. Gianni Cimini's 100th match as the head coach of Toronto FC2 ends in a 3-0 victory to keep them with a buffer above the playoff line. A brace by Marcus Simmermancic will give him our player of the match. As we take a look back, all in the second half. Simmermancic, he was in hot form. He had 2 goals in the last 3 matches going into today. All 4 of his goals came within the last 4 games that he's been in the roster. And both of them just finding some soft spots, just finding open areas and slotting them in. And the 2 goals were enough to add on to Nate Edwards' opener. And the celebrations continue in Toronto. 3-0 victory for TFC2 over New York City FC. Don't forget to watch MLS Next Pro all season long on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV at MLSNextPro.com. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, my name is Ryan Lee. Toronto FC 2 with 3, NYCFC 2 0. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.